I will meet with Russians, with only one Russian guy, with Putin, only after we will have common plan with Trump, Europe.
Trump put Ukraine in the spotlight by saying that in Munich, she would speak in the United States, Russia and Ukraine as a guest. The Kremlin has already said that they will not be in Germany, and that time is needed to prepare the first contacts. Zelensky has indeed gone, but he is not aware of that three-way meeting and does not intend to negotiate there with the Russians either. For what? He said, first we have to talk to Washington and Europe, then Russia. Trump's conversations with him and with Putin are not enough, he believes, to say that there is a peace plan. The American Vice President, J.D. Vance, has chained one bilateral with another. It comes after he put pressure on Russia in a newspaper interview. If he does not negotiate in good faith, they do not rule out sending troops to Ukraine. Vance messaged today to the Europeans of NATO. They must take care of their own safety. While the European Union is still trying to fit in the secondary role that Trump gives them, the British Prime Minister has called Zelensky to tell him that Ukraine's path to NATO is irreversible. Also a call from President Sanchez.
I do not even consider as a hypothesis that European issues that concern Europe, although not only Europe, are done without the voice of Europeans.
The Germans believe that Trump has been clumsy. He has said defense supply, taking out of the negotiations the possible entry of Ukraine into NATO. Trump said it on the campaign trail. My favorite word is tariff, and in less than 4 weeks, he has announced trade wars with friendly and enemy countries. On the 3rd of February, tariffs of 10% on all Chinese products. On the 10th of February, 25% to aluminum and steel. This is big, he said. 13%. The reciprocal tariffs. These are good. The tariffs on its neighbors, Mexico and Canada, have been postponed for the moment, while the two promise to strengthen the surveillance of their borders. Now he is studying to record cars, medicines, microchips, and in his crosshairs, the European Union. They take advantage of us. For decades, the United States under its tariffs, convinced of the benefits of free trade, importing cheaper products. Now, instead, Trump wants to protect his industry, manufacture more at home, and buy less abroad, with a risk that prices will rise. And threat after threat also tests his bargaining power. India promises to buy more oil from it. He used it to Colombia to send a message. If you do not accept deported migrants, I will punish you with tariffs. He promises economic protectionism. America first is his motto, but he also likes to use the threat as a negotiating tactic. Spain is aligned with Brussels in the response to Trump, trying to go all in one and therefore put on the table the arguments for which we consider that a policy of tariff trade barriers neither benefits the United States nor benefits Europe. They argue that VAT is a consumption tax, not a tariff.
VAT is a tax that is borne by all products that are produced in Europe, and also those that are imported, because in that way they are in equal conditions of competition.
But for Washington, it is a barrier to trade that harms the United States. In 2024, Europe had its largest trade surplus with that country, more than 220,000 millions of euros. But it's not the same for everyone. Germany, Italy, and Ireland have the largest surpluses, while Spain, for example, buys more from the United States than it sells to it. Trump could take advantage of these differences to impose different tariffs on each country.
We would be in a situation of great weakness with respect to the United States, and that is what President Trump is seeking, in fact, to divide.
Although the answer is unique, what seems clear is that no one will benefit.
We are going to a more inefficient world. We are going to a world where products, consumption is going to be more expensive. We are going to a world where inflation is going to be more durable.
The automotive sector would be one of the most affected, such as pharmaceuticals or food. Until April, when the concrete design of the rates is known, there is time to negotiate and try to reduce the damage to the minimum possible. In the last day, the defenses of the 3 former managers of the Federation have denied the coercion to the player. Bilda's lawyer has cast doubt on the testimony of Jenni Hermoso's brother.
In court, he says one thing. In the press, he says the opposite.
The defenses of Vilda and Luke have gone further by charging against the accusations and questioning the prosecutor's office for accusing them of the crime of equations.
The thing about the kiss was so small, so brief, so short, so insignificant, that it did not give rise to this public exhibition, to this exhibition of strength on the part of the state, against the Royal Spanish Football Federation.
And they do not believe that their client's messages or conversations with the player amounted to an equation.
I live in another world, but there is absolutely cordial language here.
Before finishing, the judge asked the defendants if they wanted to make use of their right to the last word.
Thank you very much, Albert Luke. And young Creveda. No, not either.
And the magistrate has closed the case in a relaxed tone after 9 long sessions that he has led with a firm hand.
Well, even if it seems like a lie, we're done with this.
In this video from Radio Television Española, key evidence in the trial, the important thing is what is not seen. There has been no discussion about a kiss these 2 weeks. There has been a discussion about consent here. That's when I knew my boss was kissing me. Did you feel violated? Yes, I felt disrespected. What is being judged is whether there was sexual assault. Rubiales' defense says he's asking for permission for a little kiss. A little kiss. His only evidence is a questioned expert.
Can I give you a little kiss? And he said okay.
Are you sure he gave his approval, his consent?
Totally safe.
Hermoso's companions as witnesses have supported his version. He told at least 4 of them still on the lawn, his brother too.
What have you done? Well, nothing, because the word disgust has come out to me.
These videos are for the defense, a proof of consent. The prosecutor regretted that it is questioned that Jennifer held a World Cup. She should not be required to give that up. The other footballers say Jenni was uncomfortable between jokes. I tell them to stop. It could be something very serious. In addition, the judge will have to rule on whether or not there were coercions. There are several scenarios. The plane of the flight to Spain.
We took into account both professional and personal consequences, because of the concern I had at the time, and to try to normalize.
And then, the trip to Ibiza. There, according to her friends, Jennifer collapsed from the pressure. It makes me cry. And that I can't fit in here, that I can't take it anymore. Some witnesses have portrayed a federation that set in motion a whole machinery to exonerate Rubiales.
To crush the will of Jennifer Beautiful.
The judge that Clemente has tried to redirect a hearing in which everyone has tried to go off script.
Clearly not with his.
Now it's time to write a sentence as media as the trial.
The oil went up a lot. It's going down a little bit, but there is an Indian supermarket it shows.
The oil a little but good, although it still has a long way to return to the prices of 2022. The truth is that in the last year, it has fallen by 21.9% and is moving away from the increases of March, which were around 70%. This month, it has even helped to keep at bay the cessation of food at 1.8%, the same rise as in December.
Everything is much more expensive than it should be.
Eating protein is expensive. Eating well is expensive.
If I'm being honest, he keeps going up and down and up and down. I don't know.
Prices in general grew by 1/10 compared to December, up to 2.9%. Behind are the fuels and the base effect. They rose this January more than last year's.
It cost me almost 80 euros, and before about 60, there I filled it up.
The comparison between January and the months before has been incredible. And the electricity. It should be remembered that the VAT subsidies for electricity ended on January 1, and it has gone from 10 to 21%.
20 minus 25 euros I have noticed.
Before hitting the button, you have to look first. If we eliminate energy and fresh food, inflation drops by 2/10. The underlying one stands at 2.4% in January and is 5/10 away from general inflation. After 3 days of controversy, Montero reappears and reaffirms his position. She has always been clear. That does not change after the pressures of Yolanda Diaz, an interprofessional minimum wage, with a vocation to rise, which can progressively contribute to the public coffers. Seems to me to be a left-wing, progressive and Moderna approach. He defends that the collection must be maintained because only in this way are public services guaranteed and alert. A fiscal populism that it seems that paying taxes is bad. And, although the dialogue is not closed, it leaves a clear message from vice president to vice president. The competition, on the other hand, lies in the treasury. In their see, they do not give the arm to twist either.
The adjustment that needs to be made to the tax system does not stop at recording precisely the most unprotected workers.
While the PP says that the government wants to make cash.
Because of the deception perpetrated by this supposedly progressive government.
And he accuses the Popular Party, the two vice presidents, of having dynamited the social dialogue. With my bronchitis, I can't go on now. It happened on Wednesday when the Pope had to ask a priest to finish the reading for him during a mass. Several days have passed, but the pontiff has not recovered, and his doctors have decided to admit him to a hospital.